from teaching, so I thought I'd restart the class now that we're through the holidays. So it's nice and cold here, so we will restart class this morning. The high school's back in session. I've got still 2-3 weeks before I got to teach at the college and I've got to squeeze my human anatomy as well as my human physiology course from 16 weeks down to 12 weeks, and we're going to try it on campus, so we'll see what happens. So we just got through the holidays. If you've done what I've done, food is a big part of the holidays. Thanksgiving, obviously, but Christmas and New Year's Eve, I had a huge meal. So I haven't gained any weight. I don't know if you all have. But weight gain is kind of an issue, and then you have your New Year's resolution to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. So I spent a lot of time coaching people on how to lose weight, and so I thought we'd go through some stuff about appetite suppressant behaviors, as well as how to get you through some intermittent fasting if you're doing that. That's a major part of what I do for people that are trying to lose weight, is not really teach them what to eat, although I tell them not to eat carbs, of course, or simple carbs. But also, hey Shelly, but also some behavioral things that you can do, and then we'll get into the supplement stuff. Okay, so really, before we get into the suppressants, or appetite suppressants like the supplements, you don't need to necessarily take an appetite suppressant supplement, because an appetite suppressant really is any activity or approach, food, snack, supplement, which prevents a person from feeling hunger. So it can range from what you eat, or to how you eat, when you eat, and whether or not you need a supplement. So how do they work? So an appetite suppressant really fakes your brain into thinking that your stomach's full and you're not hungry. So you're hitting on mental triggers in your brain. That's the whole idea. So that's, your brain is kind of, hypothalamus is your hunger center. And so you want to satisfy that hunger urge. So there's a variety of ways to do that. So it can be as simple as drinking a glass of water, because remember, most hunger is thirst. And I teach that based on the Jason Fung principle of intermittent fasting with low carb, high fat diets. Okay, or you can take it all the way to an extreme. A friend of mine did this. She had gastric sleeve surgery. She lost 130 pounds, and of course now she has to kind of watch her food intake. So gastric sleeve surgery obviously is an appetite suppressant based on a surgical approach. So hunger is not an easy feeling to overcome. And we'll talk a little bit about Overeaters Anonymous coming up here. So you're basically fighting against an urge in your mind and some physical urges, sometimes pains, hunger pangs, which can be uncomfortable. And then they start working on your mind, and it's almost impossible to get off your mind that you need something to eat. So appetite suppressants is more than just eating less food. It's also getting yourself into the habit of dealing with cravings. And I think Friday we're going to talk about cravings, hunger cravings, food cravings. And the idea is to either maintain weight that you've lost, like the person that has had gastric sleeve surgery, she has to maintain that weight loss. Because I've known a lot of people that have had bariatric surgery that have somehow figured out a way to get past that surgical fix, I guess, and maybe not gain all the weight back that they've lost, but they'll start gaining a significant amount of weight, even though they've spent maybe $8,000 or $10,000 having a surgical approach to weight loss. Probably one of the poorest and most dangerous ways to appetite suppress, and caffeine is one of the natural supplements we'll talk about, is the energy drinks. They have so much stuff in them that friend of mine who's a pediatric cardiologist in Kansas City talked to me about several teenagers that he had to work on because of cardiac rhythm disturbances from drinking Monsters. And I don't pick on Monsters specifically. You can name whatever energy drink you want, but you see a lot of young people subsist and they think thrive on drinking 3 or 4 energy drinks daily. Well, 4 is what put this cardiologist's teenage patients into a cardiac rhythm disturbance. 4 energy drinks. You can also use laxatives, bad idea. You can also use amphetamines, bad idea, because of, well, for obvious reasons. Okay, so here's some behavioral approaches. So just eat some protein. You can curb hunger with protein, and handful of almonds will curb your curb your appetite. So a calorie shake, protein calorie shake. I've been working on a shake for body solution systems for about 6 months. It's hard to do and it's expensive. And figuring out what protein you should use. Whey protein, soy protein, 20% of people are soy intolerant. And then adding an appetite suppressant to a shake. Okay, so low calories are 115 calories, loaded with protein, very little carbohydrates. So you can combine proteins in a shake. That's what's on the shelf at Body Solution Systems. That is a soy and whey combination protein shake, 110 calories, I believe. So if you just cannot not eat, drink a protein shake. And there's hundreds of them on the market. You can get them over the counter. I usually refer people to Body Solution Systems or a physician office because there are certain supplemental protein shakes you can only get through a physician or medical office. Number 2 on behaviors is eat fiber. So eating more protein and fiber, it's a simple hack to eating less. So fiber does not break down as easily as other foods, and it remains in the body for longer periods of time. So digestion gets slowed down. You get a more full sensation throughout the entire day. So good fiber, beans, almonds, vegetables, whole grains. And then number 3, drinking water. So it seems simple, it seems too easy, but drinking 8 to 10 cups of water a day, just plain water, can curb your appetite because thirst can often be times confused with hunger. And so if I'm hungry and I really don't want to eat, I'm on my 24-hour, 1 meal a day fasting protocol, I would just drink water. You can also drink tea to get your caffeine intake for the caffeine suppressant of your appetite. So when I did my 40-pound weight loss 10 years ago, I drank 2 liters of water a day. So I just kept hydrated. So the next time you have low energy, you're bored, you have cravings for food, you're trying to continue to lose weight or fast, water will control that urge most of the time. And I know that from personal experience. Okay, number 4, managing your stress. So 50% of us report feeling greater stress than we did several years ago, and especially in this last year. So and this is a survey and a study, so 43% use food to cope with that stress. So when it comes to stress and appetite, they are fairly closely related. Okay, if you don't believe me, if you know anything about 12-step meetings, the best literature of all the 12-step programs is Overeaters Anonymous. And I've been to those meetings, and it's an amazing meeting to go to. You know, it's anonymous. And so Overeaters Anonymous, they delve into the psychology behind food addiction and using food to manage anxiety. Okay, so there's really a physical hunger as well as a mental hunger that occurs when you're physically craving food. And then there's also hunger that stems from comfort eating. This is Overeaters Anonymous for the most part, from stress and sadness and other negative feelings. So there's a correlation between stress triggers and heightened cravings to eat, and then to eat poor foods. So meditation, sleep, mindfulness, reading, exercise are a way to help you manage stress. My friend Lynn Rossi, she's a PhD in Columbia, Missouri. She runs a website talking about mindfulness. So mindfulness for weight loss. She also teaches yoga. But she just got a new book coming out, Mindfulness and Eating. So she understands that psychological connection between hunger pangs, I guess, and stress eating. Okay, and I've forgotten what number I'm on. 6, I think. Okay, proper sleep. I did a whole series on sleep. So 7.5 hours of sleep a night is ideal. Most studies are 7 to 9 hours. I read a study that 7.5 is just about perfect. So remember, you make your hormones while you're sleeping. You make your long-term memories when you're sleeping. And if you have interrupted sleep from nocturia, you have to get up and go to the bathroom multiple times a night. That can disrupt all the circadian rhythms and your hypothalamus and all your hormones, et cetera, et cetera. And then number 7, I guess, reducing your sugar intake. So cutting out sugar is the first step. That's the first thing when I'm health coaching somebody on weight loss and managing food, is to cut out basically sugar and fructose. So simple carbohydrates. So if you start with nothing else on a weight loss journey, get rid of soda pop and fruit juice. Fruit juices, there's a ton of sugar. If you read the label, a glass of fruit juice, assuming you don't have the diet or the fake sugar kind, but the ones that have sugar in them, 28 grams per glass. Okay, so sugar affects your hunger. So the biggest culprits are soft drinks, soda pop, and fruit juice drinks. So you can add 500 calories a day to your caloric intake just from drinking soda pop. I remember reading one time, and I don't know how he did this, but Hugh Hefner, the Playboy guy, used to drink a case of Pepsi a day. And he was skinny. I don't know, he didn't get huge and fat, all that. But that was his addiction. He was basically, it sounds like, addicted to Pepsi. Okay, so just cut out sugar. Get rid of anything white, any dairy products. Anything that looks white or is made from white products has simple carbohydrates in it and is going to keep you from losing weight or suppressing appetite. So sugar, if you remember my lecture from a month or so ago, sugar is addictive. It's more addictive than heroin. And the more sugar you eat, the hungrier you are. There's my Missouri lingo. And then if you need to snack, which is kind of a bad idea, diabetics are always told to snack. That's actually a bad idea. Make sure they're healthy snacks. Okay. So there's several different ways. There's poor snacking choices. There's healthy snacking choices. Most of them are protein based. Number 7, 8, whatever I'm on, keep a journal. So this is simple. I knew a woman 25 years ago who was broke. She didn't have any money. And what she did was journal every penny she spent. She kept a little notebook with her. And every time she spent money, she would write down what she spent and on what. And that's how she got through her most broke time period in her life. Same thing works for caloric intake. So just journal what you're eating. I mean, if that speaks to you, some people it would increase their anxiety, but it does show you where the cravings come in, what times of day. It's a form of mindfulness, really, which goes to Lynn Rossi. I don't know if she teaches journaling with her mindfulness work. So it may be harder than exercise, and exercise is not the deal. You don't really need to go out and work yourself to the bone to lose weight. You just got to pay attention to what you're eating and when you're doing it. So there's plenty of research that suggests the simple act of keeping a food and weight loss journal may double an individual's weight loss. Okay, it makes you aware of your habits. It's a focusing exercise, and it tells you what you're putting into your body, as in addition to when you're putting it in your body. And then you can ask the question to yourself: why am I putting this particular item into my body and eating it? Okay, and then boosting your energy levels. Okay, so you can do that with vitamins and supplements. What you're trying to do is trigger natural appetite suppressing hormones in your body. And those that need help, I have, my super skinny shots, lipotropic B complex injections, and the mini skinny shot. That does help for boosting energy. So if anybody's ever taken a B12 shot, or especially a B complex shot, the boost in energy is amazing. Okay, so if you need a supplement, so there's many weight loss products, tons of weight loss products on the market. It's almost the #1 medical condition, or not really a medical condition, but well, kind of a medical condition because of the side effects. So all of the supplements and the weight loss products that you see work in different ways. So they can reduce your appetite, they can block absorption of fats, sugars, they can increase caloric burning. So these are the top 10 natural appetite suppressants. One of which I'm trying to get into the PXR Pro Shake, if we can ever get it done and make it taste right. And I'll tell you what that one is, I think #5. So #1, that's top 10 natural supplements for appetite suppression. First is fenugreek. It's an herb from the legume family. The seeds are the most commonly used parts of the plant. They're 45% fiber. They're not soluble, but they can also contain a little bit of soluble fiber. So thanks to the high fiber content. So if you don't like fiber, like celery's not that fibrous. I looked that up not too long ago. So if you don't like fibrous foods or fiber in your diet, fenugreek can provide you a source of fiber. So fenugreek helps with blood sugar regulation, cholesterol reduction, and appetite control, and it slows the stomach emptying and delays carbohydrate and fat absorption. So that translates into a decreased appetite and better blood sugar control. Of course, all of these 10 have studies behind them. So a study of 18 healthy people with obesity, which is body mass index 30 or higher, consuming 8 grams of fiber from fenugreek reduced appetite more effectively than 4 grams of fiber from fenugreek. So you felt fuller, they ate less at the next meal, and it may help decrease fat intake. So 12 randomized controlled studies, fenugreek has blood sugar and cholesterol lowering properties. Safe supplement. Most of these have few side effects. There's a couple we'll talk about. The dose, and I can put this list up later, and I'll talk to you about how you can get a hold of some really good formulated protein shakes and some supplements that can supplement mixtures that are only available through physicians and medical offices that contain some of these supplements. Okay, so dosage in a capsule, 0.5 gram dose, 500 milligrams, increasing to a gram after a couple of weeks. #2, glucom. Here's my Missouri accents. Glucomannan. I looked up the pronunciations, and there's always varieties. So we talked about fiber intake. So one of the best known soluble fibers. This seems to be the most effective for weight loss, and it reduces appetite and decreases food intake. It's also able to absorb in water, and what it does is forms a gel. So there is, when it is in contact with water, so that can bypass digestion, it's relatively unchanged by the time it gets to the colon. And that bulking property assists in a feeling of fullness and delayed stomach emptying. So I worked for a company in Oklahoma City that was, I cannot remember the name of this device, but Basically, it was a gastric balloon that was put in by a gastroenterologist and then filled with saline so that your stomach always felt pretty full. And that was done, I think, for 8 to 12 weeks, maybe longer. Might have been 6 months. And then you deflate the balloon and remove it. So you had to have a body mass index of 30 or higher, 32 or higher, to be in that protocol. But this is basically the same thing using a supplement that turns into a gel. So there's a study showing significant reduction in body weight and fat after taking a supplement of glucomannan containing 3 grams with 300 milligrams of calcium carbonate for 2 months. Bigger study randomized to receive 3 different supplements or a placebo, and the ones with the glucomannan supplements experienced significant weight loss. So decreases the absorption of proteins and fats. It seems to feed the microbiome of your gut as well. Helps regulate blood sugar levels and actually reduces total cholesterol and LDL levels as well. So the dose of this one is 1 gram 3 times a day, 15 minutes to 1 hour before a meal. Okay, number 3 is Gymneva sylvestre. It's an herb, has anti-diabetic properties, seems to help with weight loss. Blocks the sweetness of food is kind of how it works. So if you consume this supplement, it reduces the taste of sugar in your mouth and it fights sugar cravings. And if you're fasting, there's a study that shows that Gymneva sylvestre lowers appetite levels and helps with limiting food intake during the fasting time period. It binds to sugar receptors in the intestine and absorbs, so it prevents absorption of sugar in your blood and may help reduce carbohydrate storage as fat. So if you don't use the carbohydrates, which is for immediate energy, if you don't need that, your body stores that as fat. So this one's 100 milligrams 3 to 4 times a day. It comes in a powder and a tea as well. Number 4 is Griffonia simplicifolia, which it's a natural source for 5-hydroxytryptophan, so we'll stay with 5-HTP instead of me tripping over Griffonia simplicifolia. So it gets converted to serotonin. 5-HTP is the precursor to serotonin formation in your brain, and serotonin level increases, suppresses your appetite. So 5-HTP aids weight loss by helping decrease carbohydrate intake and hunger levels. Okay, so I'm looking at studies. This article cites most of these studies. So basically what you're doing is lowering appetites, you're increasing levels of fullness, and studies showing significant weight reductions over an 8-week period just with 5-HTP. So the supplement for Griffonia is better absorbed as a 5-HTP supplement, probably more effective in an appetite suppressant, since 5-HTP is the main active compound. So the dose for this is 300 to 500 milligrams, taken once a day or in a divided doses, and you take it with meals to help increase your fullness. Number 5 is Caralluma fimbriata, and that is what I'm trying to get into, a pea protein shake for body solution systems called PXR Pro. It's getting the taste right, because Caralluma itself, I think, is from cabbage, and so it doesn't have the greatest taste. So it's usually used as a powder, and then you have to overcome the taste of the protein. The other one I'm working on is rice protein. Most of them are whey proteins. There's a previous shake that was complete soy, and the biggest problem with soy protein is bloating and abdominal pain. So some people can't get past that. 20% of people are just soy intolerant. So Caralluma fimbriata appears to increase the circulation of serotonin in the brain, reducing carbohydrate intake and suppressing appetite. So here's a study: 1 gram of Caralluma fimbriata for 2 months, 2.5% weight loss, usually mainly from appetite suppression. Another study: 500 milligrams of Caralluma fimbriata twice daily for 12 weeks with a controlled diet, They didn't talk about fasting as well as exercise. Reduced waist, circumference, and body weight. And the group that took the highest dose, 1,000 milligrams a day, experienced significantly lower appetite levels and reductions in food intake by the end of this study. Apparently not really many side effects, although I did read one study that showed that bloating is another issue with Carolina fimbriata. But this study says does not have any documented side effects. So it's 500 milligrams twice a day for at least a month. I do have that. Actually, I don't have that now I think about it. Don't have that in the shake yet. Okay, working on it. Okay, number 6, green tea extract. Okay, so green tea, mainly caffeinated appetite suppression. So there's 2 compounds. There's in green tea. And people that are on weight loss journeys certainly have heard of drinking green tea when they're hungry. So the 2 compounds are caffeine and catechins. So caffeine is a well-known stimulant, increases fat burning and suppresses appetite. And catechins, specifically epigallocatechin gallate, so EGCG, have been shown to boost metabolism and reduce fat. So they work together. In green tea, that's why most weight loss regimens tell you to drink green tea. It's safe up to 800 milligrams of the catechins. Nausea if you get past 1,200 milligrams. So the recommended dosage for green tea is 250 to 500 milligrams per day. Okay. Number 7 is conjugated linoleic acid. It's a trans fat found naturally in fatty animal products with several health benefits. So it helps with weight loss by increasing burning of fat and blocking the production of fat and stimulating fat breakdown. So similar, mobilizing fat like with HCG, and that could be a whole nother class. Conjugated linoleic acid also increases feelings of fullness and it decreases appetite. So there are 2 or 3 studies on that I'm looking at. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 studies, 11 studies on conjugated linoleic acid. Recommended dose is 3 to 6 grams a day taken with meals. Okay, this one I have on the shelf, Body Solution Systems. I'll give you the phone number here at the end because they have the shakes and they have Garcinia cambogia on the shelf. They also have an HCG shake. HCG mobilizes fat. It's not a weight loss product. It mobilizes fat so you can burn it. So Garcinia cambogia comes from a fruit of the same name, and the peel of this fruit contains high concentrations of hydroxycitric acid proven to have weight loss properties. So it helps to reduce food intake, and human studies show a reduction in appetite and blocking of fat production and decreases in body weights. It also seems to increase serotonin levels, so just like 5-HTP. So you're acting on brain receptors in charge of fullness signals. Okay, there are some variable studies on almost all these. Garcinia is one of them. Results may vary by individual, and remember, all these supplements you should check with a healthcare provider. Make sure they're not contraindicated with what you're taking if you're taking a pharmaceutical. So Garcinia up to 2,800 milligrams a day seems to be safe. Past that, there can be side effects, headaches, skin rashes, stomach upset. So the recommended dose is really 500 milligrams a day, 30 to 60 minutes before a meal. That one, like I said, is on the shelf, and Body Solutions will ship it to you. Yerba mate, anywhere you're at. Yerba mate, it's a plant from South Africa. It has energy boosting properties, so that works on your mind. So animal studies show that yerba mate decreases food and water intake and aids with weight loss. Okay, and it seems to work by increasing glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1, and leptin levels. So leptin is stored in adipose tissue or fat tissue and tells your brain that you're full. So leptin, they were trying to, pharmaceutical industry is trying to patent leptin, because if you get the leptin level right, your body just weighs what your brain thinks it should. That didn't get off the ground. I'm not sure why, because leptin, of course, it's a natural, it's a natural substance, so probably not patentable. But you can manipulate your leptin levels with supplements and how you eat. We talk about leptin in my physiology class. We talk about glucagon-like peptide 1 in my physiology class. So leptin is in charge of signaling your brain that you're full. And remember, you should take at least 20 minutes to eat. It takes that long for leptin to tell your brain that you're full. Okay. So the yerba mate comes in a tea, so 330 cc's daily, so 3 cups a day. So that one's easy. And then, of course, coffee. It's one of the most widely consumed beverages in the world. It helps burn calories and helps with fat breakdown, and probably helps decrease appetite. Similar to like phentermine, the amphetamines. Any of the amphetamines are going to reduce your appetite. Methamphetamine, that's one of the it's one of the reasons that methamphetamine people or users are not heavy. I don't think I've ever met a heavy person that's used methamphetamine. So each cup of coffee, and this is arguable, 95 grams, milligrams, 95 milligrams per cup. So 2 cups a day seems to aid weight loss. I've also, so the energy drinks are at least that. So you're drinking 3 of those, then you're at, I can't remember, and there's another supplement that's amphetamine-like, in energy drinks. So drinking that much energy drink is basically caffeine overload. Okay, helps boost your, so coffee, 2 cups a day, helps boost your metabolism up to about 11%, and it increases fat burning by up to 29%, even in lean people. Okay, more than 250 milligrams of caffeine a day may raise blood pressure in some people. So that's why the energy drinks can be so difficult. I'm sorry about coughing. My medication has this coughing side effect. I tell you that in every class. Okay, so I've seen 70 milligrams of caffeine per cup of coffee. So theoretically, you drink 3. This study said 95 milligrams. So the bottom line on this is that certain herbs and plants and supplements help promote weight loss. They can reduce appetite. They can increase fullness sensations in your brain, slowing stomach emptying. They block the absorptions of sugars and fats, help break down fat. They can influence leptin and glucagon-like peptide factor. And then soluble fibers like fenugreek and glucomannan are great at delaying gastric emptying, increasing fullness, and inhibiting energy intake. And then Caralluma, Fimbriata, and Griffonia simplicifolia, and Garcinia cambogia contain helpful compounds to boost serotonin levels in the brain, which helps with fullness sensation and decreasing carbohydrate intake. And then yerba mate coffee and green tea extract are caffeine-based that help reduce food intake. They influence leptin levels, and they boost metabolism. And then CLA has been shown to increase fat burning. So it's all individual. Those are some things that you can do. Okay, now that I'm getting back to my screen, why to eliminate dairy? Because dairy usually is converted into simple sugar and fructose. So that's why. Anything white converts to simple sugars and fructose. So simple carbohydrates. Lisa and Linda, good morning. And you're not late. Well, maybe you're late. You can always go back. So what I have, not to sales pitch you, but I do have a couple of these supplements on the shelf, not here in my dining room. But I'm the health coach for Body Solution Systems the last 6 years. And we've kind of revisited some of our supplements. So Garcinia is on the shelf. HCG shakes are on the shelf. A combination soy whey protein shake is on the shelf. Their number is 636-532-0700. They'll ship you anything you want, um, anywhere in the country. Actually, they ship to Australia. They have affiliates in Australia. So working on a new PXR Pro Shake that will have an appetite suppressant in it based on pea protein, which eliminates the soy problem. Almost everybody has kind of a, well, not everybody, but you can get whey protein shakes at Walmart if you want. These supplements only available through a medical office, so there's that. Anyway, I thought since we got through the holidays and everybody seems to fight and kind of worry about what they ate over the holidays, if you're coming down off of that sugar high or that I'm going to eat all the carbs I want, makes you hungrier. So as you start the new year and you're thinking, okay, I got out of control between Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's some easy natural ways to suppress appetite without taking phentermine or any medication per se. Okay, so have a great day. I've got some coaching clients to do today, and I will see you Friday, and we'll talk about curbing hunger pangs and sugar cravings. Okay, so have a great day, and I will talk to you Friday morning at 9:30. See ya. Bye.